Now that we know how to do the basic settings in the compensation module, let's move on to next step, which is creating different salary templates or salary package. So a salary package is nothing but a combination of various salary components, basically the annexure that you share with the candidate along with the total CTC. So these salary components make up to an employee CTC. Let's see how to do it. So let's navigate to settings, compensation, and here we have the option salary structure. So salary structure is split into two. One is creating salary components and then benefits. All together, there comes a salary package. So let's start with adding a salary component. So click on add component. So here we have an option to give a name. So let's add a salary component which is fuel allowance. You can also write a description if you want, however it's not mandatory. And then we have an option to set the applicable location. So let's take an example here. So fuel allowance is applicable only to metro cities, not to all the cities. So in that scenario, you can pick a specific location over here. And then what would be the component type? Is it an earning component or is it a deduction component? So let's take an example for a deduction component, which is income tax. So income tax is a part of the employee's salary, however, it is a deduction component. So you can specify the component type. So next step would be defining the payment type, which is fixed pay, and then we have variable pay. So usually an employee's total CTC will be split into two, which is the fixed pay component and then the variable pay. So to take an example, 12 lakhs is the total CTC of an employee, out of which 10 lakhs is fixed pay and the remaining 2 lakhs is the variable pay, which means it's up to the organization whether they will be paying the entire variable pay component or even less than that, depending upon the employee's performance. So you can pick a payment type and then comes the calculation. So whether this is going to be a flat amount, so let's put 1000 here, or it can also be a percentage. So let's say you are creating the gross salary, which is going to be 20% from my basic salary. So it can either be a flat amount or it can be a percentage. And the third option is you can create your own formulas. So we do have different functions which you can use to do it. So after entering the calculation type, and then comes the payment frequency. So whether this component will be paid to an employee on a monthly basis or on an annual basis. So usually variable pay component will be paid on an annual basis, mostly not on a monthly basis. So you're going to pick a payment frequency, and once this is done, you can click on save. So this is one example. So you're going to follow the same steps to add the remaining salary components that you have. Once you're done with the salary components, we'll move on to the benefit components. So benefit components is also a part of an employee CTC. So let's say you have meal passes, you have annual bonuses, you have medical insurance. They all can be categorized under benefits. So click on add benefit component. You can give a name, and the rest of the steps remains the same. So whatever we have followed to create a salary components, you're going to do the same to add a benefit component. And once you're done with creating these components, the last step would be creating a salary package. And again, you can create multiple salary packages depending upon different applicable conditions. Let's say you have a specific salary package for software developer who is working with you for 10 years. But on the other hand, you're hiring a new employee for the same position software developer, but that employee will not share the same package as an experienced employee. So this is where you start creating different salary packages. So in order to do that, let's click on the add, and again you can give a name. You can also write a description here. So this is where you set the applicable for. So now let's say the designation is going to be a senior Java developer, and the experience would be 10 years from date of joining. That is, the salary package that we are creating now is going to be applicable for a senior Java developer with an experience of 10 years in your organization. And then you can pick a currency. So these are all the list of currencies we have predefined in the general settings part. So select the currency and enter the overall CTC, and post which start mapping your salary components and your benefits. So all the salary components we have created so far will be listed here. So you should click on map component select a component and then click on add. So once we are done with this, move on to benefits, start adding your benefits. So after adding all of your components, you can click on save. So now we have created a new salary package for the designation software engineer with few applicable criteria. So you're going to follow the same steps to create the remaining list of salary packages that you have. So now we have created the salary package. Step 3 is going to be creating salary revision letters, because whenever you revise an employee's salary, you will have to formally inform that to an employee by sharing a salary revision letter. So here we have an option called as revision letter templates. So you can create different combinations of revision letters, because a senior management employee might have a different salary revision letter compared to an entry-level employee. So here we have two different options. One is to import a predefined salary revision letter, or you have an option to create a new salary revision letter from scratch. That is, when you go with this option, add revision letter template, give a name. So you can either go with a blank page where you're going to entirely type the contents of your salary revision letter, or we have an option where you can pick the predefined templates. So this is where you're going to completely create your salary revision letter. So you're going to type the entire contents, where you can also include merge fields, because this letter is going to be a dynamic letter. It should address each and every employee personally. So here I can use merge fields to make this letter a dynamic one. So now let's say I'm going to use the employee's name here, and then you can start creating the content over here. This is one way on how you can create a salary revision letter. There's another method where you can simply import a sample. So you can click on this drop down, click on import revision letter template. If you have any sample predefined copy with you, you can import it, and after importing the letter, you can edit the letter to make it a dynamic one. So in this way, you can create multiple combinations of salary revision templates, which is going to be our step 3. Now that packages are created, salary revision letters are created, the last thing about setting up the compensation module is defining permissions. The permission setup for compensation module is very unique compared to the rest of the modules. So ideally, the super administrator of Zoho people is the only person who will have access to the compensation module. The rest of the users, including the admin, will not even have the primary access to the compensation module. It's up to the super admin to decide who all in the organization can access this information. So we are going to switch to the permission section, and under manage applicability, the super admin is going to select the list of roles that can access the compensation module. Let's say team member, manager, and admin. So as a super admin, I have given permission to 3 different roles, that is a team member, a manager, and an admin, to access the compensation module. This permission only gives them access their own data. So even as a manager here, a manager cannot access their reportees information. An admin will still not have admin access to the compensation module. The access that we have provided is only the primary access, that is, the managers, team members, and the admins will only have provision to view and manage their own data. What if I want to promote someone to have an administrative access of the compensation module? So I want to make them an admin of this specific module. So you will have to go to the compensation administrator section, click on add administrator. You will have to select a user, and here you have got few more options. Do you want to make Vikram compensation administrator only for the setup part or also for data? And even here you can select a specific location. What if you have different users managing the compensation data for each location? So this admin access can be based on 3 different things: setup, data, and then location. We click on save. So this option helps you to extend the admin access to other users in the organization. Now let's say, what about managers? So I want to give permission to a manager to be able to view their subordinate salary information. So we go back to manage applicability, click on additional permissions, add permission, select manager role here, and what type of access you would like to set. So when it comes to salary and benefits, access level, it's going to be either reportee data or all employee data. Let's say it's going to be only reportee data. So what type of information they can access? Is it only the salary, or along with salary they can also view the benefit and other components? Can they also create or revise their subordinates' employee salary? So here you have the access level with respect to salary and benefits, and also with respect to salary revisions. So this is how you add additional permission to other roles to be able to access the subordinates' data. And this permission configuration should be done by the super administrator of Zoho people. So once you're done with permissions, you have completely set up the compensation module. So we have did the general settings, creating salary packages, salary revision letters, and then finally setting up the permissions.